Good morning, everyone. My name is James. This is episode 10 of Break-Thru Active Podcast. As always, I'm here with Mitch. How are you, mate?
Morning, everybody. I'm doing well, thanks, Jamie. We are at the end of week 9, I believe, since we've been locked down in isolation, and there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnels. At the end of the tunnel, so very exciting times for us here in the gym and for everyone at the moment as well.
Yeah, so before we kick off, we'd like to give a coronavirus update as it is dominating the fitness world at the moment. So, South Australia and WA are opening their gyms June 5th. So New South Wales is still possibly a few weeks after that. But the state of Oregon's back, cafes are open, everything is slowly getting back to, I wouldn't say the way it was, but we're definitely taking steps in the right direction, which is very, very exciting.
Well, their 3-stage plan, which started last Friday, which would be the 11th of May, I think. Oh, no, 15th of May, sorry. And 3 weeks after that is June the 5th, for when South Australia and WA are opening gyms back up, and that was roughly the timeline that they originally had set, about 3 weeks at each stage, and it is now up to the state governments to make their own decisions on when they're going to allow certain things to open. So hopefully, with our fingers crossed, we are getting some good news here in the next couple of days or a week, and it would be really nice if that was going to be the same for New South Wales as well.
What surprised me, both Mitch and I lived in Canada. I was at 12 months, we there for 18 months. We have lots of friends there, and we worked in a gym over there. It was a world gym, and they're opening tomorrow. And I figured that the States and Canada was hit a lot harder than us with the coronavirus. So it really is just state by state, or for there it's provinces.
Yeah, I don't know. They have provinces. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how their system works, but it really just does show.
You don't know much about Canadian politics?
No, I can't say I was too into it back in my early 20s. But it really does show how the world isn't on a mend, and I have actually heard that even in America there are some states that are starting to open up gyms again and things are starting to return to normal. And it really is just dependent on the areas as well. So places like New York, which I guess you could compare to something like Sydney, they're a lot more reserved with wanting to reopen because there are a lot more cases as opposed to somewhere like South Australia or WA, or if you think about some of the smaller states in America and Canada. So it's all very interesting, but like we said, definitely starting to return to normal, which is nice.
It's just really, really good to see. And I'm hoping to go out tonight. Did you go last night?
No, we were originally going to try to go somewhere for dinner, but we couldn't really get in anywhere, so we ended up getting takeaway. So yeah, it was nice.
Okay, today's episode, guys, is I'm excited for this episode. It's a topic that many people, I feel as though they get confused, and I feel as though they think successful people are motivated all the time, and I could not disagree more. Successful people are disciplined, and whether that's business or fitness. So I had a chat with someone yesterday. For anyone out there, if you haven't watched the last week on Netflix, the Michael Jordan documentary, I highly recommend you do. And we spoke about it. His exact quote was, "How can you watch The Last Dance and not be motivated?"
Yeah, so we won't talk too much about The Last Dance in particular, but I think a common misperception that people have when it comes to training and exercise, obviously that's the industry we're in, and it's a conversation we have a lot of the time with members who claim that they're just not motivated, or in contrary they say, I am really motivated at the moment. And I guess what we've spoke about before this podcast, and have many times before with Jamie, is that motivation is just an emotion. So the same way that you are happy or sad or angry or frustrated, the same way you can be those things, you can be motivated in the sense that it is very much a short-term thing and can be affected by just about everything. So if you're happy in the morning when you wake up, it doesn't take much to make you potentially unhappy or frustrated. And the same with motivation. You can wake up motivated, and then if you can't find your shoes to go and train, you can all of a sudden become unmotivated. So when referring to people who are training consistently and have done so over a long period and turn up regularly, it's not really that they're motivated, which is a bit of a common misperception. It is that they're disciplined.
Yeah, and as we said, motivation is nothing but a feeling. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the majority of overweight people are motivated Sunday night to make a change Monday. As Mitch said, they wake up, that they might be through alarm, they might be in a rush, they might not be able to find their shoes, their kids might have left their school books at home. One thing is enough to change the motion and ruin their entire plan. So instead of only doing the right thing when you're motivated, you should do the right thing regardless of how you're feeling. And for me, that is the big difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation, you do things when you feel great. Discipline, you do things regardless of how you feel.
Yeah, and motivation is very much fleeting. And it wasn't until that we sort of looked into this a lot more and done a bit of research on it with, amongst ourselves, and had obviously many conversations with people. And it is almost an autopilot response when people talk about motivation. I've lost motivation, I don't have motivation, or in the opposite that, I'm feeling really motivated at the moment. And like I originally said, it is just a feeling and it is just an emotion. So what we wanted to talk about today is talk a little more about the difference between motivation and discipline, because we feel as though a lot of people confuse the two. And then talk a little more about how we can start to potentially be a little more disciplined and start to get away from that search of motivation and looking for ways that we can be more disciplined as it pertains to exercise, training and nutrition, as well as other healthy habits that we are pursuing.
Yeah, and we're not saying that motivation is a bad thing. Motivation is a wonderful thing. It's just understanding that you are not going to wake up and be motivated every day. You're not going to wake up and feel amazing every day. And I've had members say to myself, how do you guys do it? You're always motivated. Like, it's not true. Like, we are not always motivated.
Well, an example of where motivation, I guess, for us and with our industry and in our business is a very positive thing is when people start. So if someone who we don't know and they've been seeing our posts on Facebook and Instagram, or however they originally come across us through a friend, for them to initially reach out to us and send us a message or give us a call, that normally means that they're in a situation where they're feeling motivated. At that point, they don't really have any discipline built up yet, because they haven't actually started to practice with training with us and starting to eat healthier, at least most of the time. So for them to reach out and want to make a change, that requires them to be feeling motivated. However, that is only a very short-term feeling, so that's what we keep coming back to here. But it is positive in the sense that it does help people decide that they want to make that change. But once they have made that decision, then the feeling of motivation needs to be shifted to the art of discipline, where they are needing to have different reasons and different purposes as to why they're turning up to training, multiple times a week, eating healthy through the week, starting to live a healthier life. It goes well beyond just feeling motivated.
The most important thing to do when you're motivated is to structure a goal, and for me, I believe you create some daily habits. So let's just say you're motivated Sunday night. Tomorrow I'm going to take care of my health. Okay, well, what does that mean? What are you going to do? And for me, if that person's motivated on Sunday night, it makes such a difference. All right, I want to go for a walk for 30 minutes a day. I want to drink 3 liters of water. I want to have vegetables twice a day. So when you're motivated, create those daily habits, create those daily rituals which will help you get to your goal. And if they're small goals and you can break them down, they're much more easier to achieve when you are feeling motivated.
Yeah, and I believe that definitely success, or in terms of health and fitness and training, is different for everybody. For Jamie and I, even it's different from one another, as it is different to the other trainers who work with us, and then obviously as it's different for all our members as well. So it's really important to identify and define what that is for you. So if it is that you're wanting to train 3 times in the upcoming week and you're not wanting to eat any takeaway food, and you want to perhaps not be drinking any alcohol, and you want to go for a walk on the days that you're not training, then you need to write that down and have that as your goal, so to speak. And
your anchor, but that gets done regardless.
And being in that motivated state when you are setting up your plan for the upcoming week is of the utmost importance, because if you are feeling a little bit down, maybe if you're feeling hungover, or you're feeling a bit sick, or whatever it is, tired, lethargic, then your goals for that upcoming week or your plan is not really going to be one that is going to be setting you up for success. So it is very important to be in that motivated state when setting goals and planning, whether it is the week or the month, or looking at goal setting. However, after that point, it comes back to discipline. It doesn't come back to motivation, because, like we keep saying, motivation is very much a short-term thing that can come and go very easily.
The simplest way to explain it is motivation gets you started, but discipline and consistent action will reach your goal.
Yep.
And it's as simple as that. And motivation is a good thing. And there are ways that you can try and stay motivated. I know for myself, I watch motivational videos. I love watching videos, Kobe Bryant, Conor McGregor, Michael Jordan from The Last Dance. Watching human beings, 2 arms, 2 legs, they breathe air, we're the same, do amazing things, helps me stay motivated. And then obviously, if you are motivated, it is easier to be disciplined. So even if you are feeling down, you're not feeling like you're doing it, still be disciplined, but there are ways you can try and trigger that motivation. So I know you watch Matt Fraser and Nick Baird, we discussed yesterday.
Yeah, there are definitely people like James said, I look up to some athletes who are in the CrossFit space, and other people who run triathlons and are really good at the discipline that they've chosen. But like James said, it only gets you so far, and I, to be honest, I don't really want as much for motivation as I do out of just interest, but that can get you started and can get your mind wanting to achieve maybe something different that you didn't think was possible, or just giving you a bit of extra motivation to continue. But when it comes down to it, following through and having that consistent action and that discipline to continue is what is going to help you achieve progress and help you achieve results. And that comes back to unpacking what it is you're wanting to achieve, and then building a plan around that. And I feel as though a good way to do that is either week to week or even day to day. Even if you look back to when people are trying to give up an alcohol addiction, the old thing of taking it one day at a time is really important in that process. And it is very easy to be overwhelmed by a big goal if you are trying to lose 25 kilos, and that might take you the better part of 6 to 8 months. If you're looking at, okay, this is going to be a 6 to 8 month process, it's at 180, 240 days, that can be a little bit overwhelming. However, if you break that down and think, okay, this is what I need to do each week, and this is what I need to do each day, I feel like that is a lot more achievable for most people. And having that discipline just to do it day in, day out is going to be a lot easier to adhere to, as opposed to trying to stay motivated, in quotations here, for that 6 to 8 month period. So breaking it down into smaller parts, and just knowing that there are going to be days that aren't great. And what's important, and this is something that we always talk about, one bad day or one bad meal doesn't need to lead to another bad meal or another bad day or another bad week, because if you're able just to wipe that slate clean, and then the next day or the next meal get back to what you're doing, there is effectively no harm done in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you see, taking emotion out of it. Like, if you eat 5 times a day, you eat 35 times a week, if one meal is awful, you've got the next 34 meals to reel it back in. However, that one meal in your mind is a cheat meal or you ate too much, and then you start the following week. So often, the best example I can think of is Dave Woodhand. So Dave Woodhand was a member of Coco. He lost 25 kilos-ish.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And at this time, Dave had all the time in the world. And we see this quite often. And then Dave got a shift worker job. He was working night shift, and we thought, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Like, let's see. And we believed in Dave, but like we've seen it 100 times when it's just exercise and food and nutrition is easy when life is good. I want to throw some adversity in there, and let's see if you can still do it.
When it's not perfect.
Yeah, and it's the same thing like when we started our business, the accountant begged us, she said, don't do a partnership, don't do a partnership. You think you're friends, you don't know each other, don't do a partnership, you're gonna fight, you're gonna argue.
She's right.
But the first 5 years of business were great. And then all of a sudden the coronavirus. Let's throw some adversity in there, and we'll see how strong our relationship actually is.
What happened with Dave?
Dave? Oh, Dave continued. Dave continued.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly right. Where when you're planning your week or you're planning your day, and you think, okay, you know, I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock, or I'm going to wake up at 5:30. I'm going to go and train at 6 o'clock. I'm going to come home. I'm going to have my healthy smoothie. I'm going to take my food for the day to work, and I'm going to have, you know, my fruit and you know, whatnot at morning tea. I'm going to have my wrap at lunchtime. I'm going to have a muesli bar and another piece of fruit in the afternoon. Then I'm going to have meat and veggies for dinner. And then I'm going to have a very small bowl of ice cream for dessert, because that's my plan. And then all of a sudden, your kid's up sick, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're up with them for 2 hours, and you miss training. And I'm not saying you should get up and train after all that, but you miss training. You sleep in a little bit later, you skip breakfast, you get your muffin and a coffee for morning tea. You've forgotten your lunch, so you go get takeaway for lunch, you skip afternoon tea, and then you end up getting pizza for dinner, a couple of wines with that, and a huge bowl of ice cream for dessert. And that's all started back from your kids being sick. And I might be speaking directly to some of you guys right here, when that's probably a fairly common occurrence in terms of your children being up sick or something getting in the way of your training, where in reality, if we take the emotion out of that, yes, I mean, there's a very good reason that you should have missed training in the morning, you know, obviously being with your kid or being sleep deprived, and you value that extra hour of sleep at that point, and that's very fair. But what doesn't have to happen is everything that's followed that. So yes, you've missed training in the morning, but there is no reason that you still shouldn't be able to follow through with that nutrition plan for that day.
It's the old classic 2 wrongs don't make it right.
Well, exactly. And that's where, if you're starting to compound some of those, I guess, call it mistakes or call it just changes, then that's when it becomes a bit of an issue, because that's Monday. Tuesday, you're going to be less likely to do it, follow your healthy plan because you've eaten like crap all Monday. Then all of a sudden you're giving up for the whole week and trying again the next week. Where in reality, you can just have that mindset and that discipline to be able to still follow through with the nutrition, and then aim to train Tuesday morning, since you missed Monday, when maybe originally you weren't planning on doing that. And then all of a sudden your week is following on as you originally planned.
Well, the word motivated is a celebrated word. If you're motivated, it's great. But the word discipline is the opposite. The word discipline is a punishment. When you're disciplined as a child, you're punished. I look at discipline is if you are disciplined, you have self-respect. If you say you're going to do something, and this is going to be good for you in regards to your health and fitness, if you don't do those things, if you aren't disciplined to do those things, that's when you lose respect for yourself. When you constantly say you're going to do something, you constantly let yourself down. And if you do that day after day, week after week, year after year, it's no wonder that you have no self-belief left. People join us and they've repeated that cycle of starting Monday, starting next week, starting next year. By the time they get to us, they don't even believe it's possible anymore.
Yeah, and that can come back to a few things where when you're disciplined, that doesn't mean that you need to turn into an absolute gym junkie or someone that gives up all the finer things in life, alcohols, sweets, fast food, social gatherings. That is far from it, and that's where it comes back to. You need to be disciplined to the plan that you put in place yourself, and that plan needs to be something that's realistic. So often we'll be talking to someone about nutrition and about training, and they'll say, okay, I'm going to train every morning, I'm going to go for a run every afternoon, I'm going to give up alcohol, I'm going to not eat chocolate anymore. And what is the likelihood that you are going to follow through with that? For starters, in regards to training, you're going to beat yourself into the ground so hard that you're going to end up injured if you're working out 5 mornings a week and running 5 times a week. And then in regards to nutrition, what is the likelihood you are going to be able to follow that strict plan when you haven't come close to following something even remotely strict in the past? But in addition to that, giving up all those things isn't going to make you happy and satisfied, because you're going to be giving up a lot of other things in terms of social outings and things as well. So you need to have a realistic plan in place and then be disciplined to be able to follow that. Being disciplined doesn't mean giving up everything that's wrong in the world. It's about following through on a plan that you've created and taking some time to think about what is it that you're wanting to achieve. And that comes back to the purpose in which you're training, and which we'll talk about a little bit more here as well, and the why, as to why you are training, why you're wanting to eat healthy, why you're wanting to improve your health, and not just doing it out of the sense of feeling motivated at a certain point on a Sunday night.
There's one thing actually better than discipline, because discipline is you're still pushing to do something that the word discipline implies that you don't want to do. What's better than discipline is just once you do it for a long period of time, it just becomes a standard. And once it is a standard, that's when you're successful. And all of our members that have been with us for years, the most successful members, they have set a new standard. Motivation, discipline, it does not matter. That is their standard for living. So a great example is both Mitch and I have standards. We have a step goal every day. We work out 6 days a week. We drink a certain amount of water. We eat a certain number of meals, and that's our standard. And we've done that for years and years and years. And now it's just second nature.
Well, even if this might be an example that you find a bit funny, or maybe one you've heard before. But think about something like having a shower or brushing your teeth, where it doesn't require motivation, and it certainly doesn't require discipline to brush your teeth every morning and every night. That is something that is a standard in society, or at least I hope it is for most people, and it is something that you do every morning and every night, just about without fail, every day for the rest of your life. Same as showering, whether it is you shower morning and night, or one or the other, you're going to do that every single day, morning and or night, regardless. And that is the standard. And although it is very different because of, it's how long it takes to brush your teeth and have a shower, and obviously hygiene standards and everything there, but in the most basic sense, the principle of that is the same as what Jamie just said. In regards to health and fitness and having standards around that, that's something that you need to forge and create for yourself. So speaking for us, that is the standard we have now isn't something that we've always had. Trying to get at least 10,000 steps every day is something that we do now, but it isn't something that we have always done. I didn't even used to know that Apple or the iPhones had an app on there that tracked your steps. So I don't know what I was doing. In terms of working out 5-6 days a week, that was never my standard either. That was something that was more based on if I was hungover or not. eating healthy and, you know, trying to limit my takeout to 1 to 2 times a week. That didn't used to be my standard, but it is my standard now. And that's not saying that you guys listening have to have the same standard as we do, but starting to create some parameters and starting to create a standard for yourself is really going to help you follow through.
Yeah, and we're both fans of Tony Robbins. We've listened to a lot of him, and he says the best way possible. People don't always get what they want, but people will always match their standards. So, for example, another great example is if your standard is to be a good person, like you will be a good person. Like your standard needs to go from being motivated to being disciplined, and then your standard needs to be, I'm going to be this level of health and fitness. And it doesn't have to be a number on the scale, it doesn't have to be a dress size, it can just be those daily rituals that you complete every single day that become your new standard. And as Mitch said, our standards have, I guess, improved year after year. And yours can too.
Yeah, one thing for me and for Jamie as well, my standard is now walking my dogs every day. That is something that obviously as a dog owner, anyone who would
the last night was dark.
Yeah, everyone would understand that it is important to walk your dogs. Yet, I know that there isn't a huge percentage of people who do that. And I know that because I walk around Walls End every single day and I don't see that many dogs getting walked. However, I know that there are lots around because I hear them bark at me every day. So that is not a standard for everyone. However, it is a standard for me ever since I did get my dogs 4 years ago. And that is something that had changed for me pretty much the moment that I got dogs, but that wasn't my standard before that. And initially, that would have required, I can't remember exactly, but it would have required a sense of discipline for me to be like, okay, well, I better go walk the dogs because they need it. And then now it is very much my new standard. It's something that I, do every day unless it is raining or whatever else. But without fail, I will do that because that is my new standard.
Don't be one of those people that go and buy a dog so they start walking. Go for a walk first and see if you like it.
Yeah, try it before you buy it. But
even like our standards now, like I think we both want to be an inspiration to you guys, and I don't want you guys to look up to us and think we're the best in the world. But our standard is to be at a certain level of health and fitness, and that requires us to train a number of times a week. It requires us to look a certain way, because we want you guys to see it's possible. And more importantly, you all know that we eat out, you know that we drink alcohol, and it's possible to reach your goals and not be that trainer on Facebook or Instagram who talks nothing about eating chicken and broccoli. No excuses, no excuses. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Give up everything. You don't have to give up everything. If you just stick to your plan and do it over a long period of time. That's not sexy, but it just takes time.
And when we talk about this at the moment, where I invite you and I encourage you to start to look at what you're currently doing and what you're wanting to achieve, and then start to build a plan around that and start to build some new standards for yourself. And that will initially come back to being disciplined, and that's going to look very different to what our standards are and what we're looking to achieve. But the aim of what we're wanting to do is, like Jamie said, just to inspire you to know that no matter where you're at in your journey, whether you're just starting out, whether you are 6 months in, whether you've been with us for a few years, that you are still able to have goals, and you are still able to be able to come up with a new plan and have new disciplines and have new standards that you're wanting to meet. But this is something that you need to want to do, and you need to have a purpose for doing it. You can't have someone tell you, hey, you should look like this, or hey, you should be able to do this. It needs to be something that you're really wanting to achieve and having that purpose to doing it, because the why of what you're wanting to achieve is more important than what you're actually looking to do. And I'll explain that a little more, where if you're wanting to lose 20 kilos, you are not wanting to lose that 20 kilos so you can look down at the scales and see that number be 20 kilos less than it is now. It is the why behind you are looking to lose that weight. So it means the why may be that you are more confident every day. You know, you are able to wear clothing that makes you feel more comfortable and better about yourself. And it might be that you are wanting to be able to go on a holiday or go somewhere where it requires you to be lighter and go for more walks and be more active in that sense. But it's never actually about that number on the scales, it's the purpose and the reason why you're wanting to lose that weight.
Yeah, and sometimes that reason can be painful. Like, you might be ashamed of yourself by the way you look, you might be ashamed of the way of how you move, that you can't get off the couch, that you can't climb a flight of stairs. The best example that I can give you is my dad, not very disciplined, not very motivated, love him, he's not. He was a really bad smoker, like a pack-a-day smoker for his entire life. He had me, and I had shocking asthma. So before this, he tried and failed to give up smoking, like most people, 10, 15, and 20 times. Little old Jamie comes along, and he never smoked ever again. So before he was trying to give up smoking, he was giving it up because he wanted to save money. He was giving up because he wasn't supposed to. He was giving up because a doctor told him to. But I was his wife. He realised, like, what type of father would make their child sick from the smoke that they can put up. And it can happen that fast.
Well, we often hear as well that
it's a light bulb moment sometimes.
Yeah, that sometimes we'll have people reach out to us because they've just been to an appointment with their doctor and they've said, listen, you need to start exercising and training and eating healthier, otherwise you are going to die young. Like, we've had that conversation with people, and that has been enough reason, and that is their why as to why they're wanting to come in and lose weight and get healthy. But until that point, their why hasn't been good enough. Like, they probably look at themselves in the mirror every day and think, oh, you know, I do need to lose some weight, or, you know, I should stop you know, eating this every day, or I should stop drinking every night. But until they have enough reason and enough pain around needing to do it, i.e. from a doctor saying you're going to die young, that's a pretty good reason to start, just like it was with Jamie's dad, and that can be that light bulb moment.
And the worst thing you can do is compare your sins to someone else's. When you look in the mirror and you're overweight, oh, I'm overweight, but like, there's people who work that are more overweight than me. Oh, I'm overweight, but like, I still move okay. Like, your standard is yours alone. I'm not going to put my standard onto you, and you should do that to me.
That's why, like I said before, it is very important that you have these standards that are for yourself, and not having any external noise or comparing yourself to friends or family, or even worse, comparing yourself to someone, whether it be a celebrity or someone on social media or whatever it is, to someone you don't even know.
Because if Mitch compared himself to the typical 30-year-old male, to someone that he looks up to, like Matt Fraser, Rich Froning, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, if Mitch compared himself to the average person, he'd feel great. And I'm not saying you should compare yourself to people, I guess, that have achieved more than you, because it can make you feel bad. But the point is, like, just because you are fitter than the person next to you, doesn't mean you have to stop. That's not your standard.
Yeah, and it just comes back to looking at yourself independently and not being impacted by anyone around you, or even, like James said, it is good to look up to people, but don't let that affect what you're wanting to do in a negative sense. So you need to take some time out to really think about what it is you're wanting to achieve, but more importantly, why you're wanting to achieve it. Because when you can identify what that reason is that gets you into training every day and you know, allows you to eat healthy and perhaps sacrifice some of the things to pursue that healthier life. And it's not always about how you live. Very rarely is it in the traditional sense, and nor are we advocates for that. What's more important is the new grandma or the new mother who runs out of energy playing with her kids or her grandkids. And her why is to be able to come in and get fitter and get healthier so she can have a better relationship with her children or with her grandchildren, because she can play with them on the ground for an hour or play with them at the park for an hour without having to go and sit down. So for me, and I'd like to think for most people, that is so much more important and such a better way to be approaching something, as opposed to saying, hey, you know, I want to lose weight, I want to get down to 65 kilos.
Yeah. So motivation gets you going, consistency and discipline creates that action, and hopefully that will eventually get you to the point where they do become your standards. We'll wrap it up there, but before we wrap it up, who inspires you, Mitch? If you are feeling down, or you're not feeling like yourself, who inspires you? Who do you look up to? What do you do to reignite that fire? Even though the fire's not there, you do it anyway. But once again, it is obviously a good feeling when you are motivated. And if you can try and be motivated as much as possible, it definitely does help you be disciplined and reach your standards.
Yeah, so in regards to that, I mean, I follow golf, I follow cricket, I follow CrossFit, so the people from those sports, you know, Tiger Woods has always been someone who I loved as a golfer when I used to play, and even he's 43 and he's come back from back surgeries and all sorts of personal issues, and he actually, you know, won a major last year, so that is someone definitely who I look up to. When it comes to cricket, someone like Shane Warne, you know, I've recently started to watch a bit more about him. There was a bit of a documentary in the last couple of weeks which I found very, very motivating, because he effectively came from nothing and worked really hard to get where he is, so he'd be another person. And in the CrossFit space, you know, like Jamie's mentioned a few times, Matt Fraser, Rich Froning there too, who pretty much have been and are at the top of that sport, and just their dedication to what they're wanting to achieve is inspiring, and that's not something that I'm looking to do. I'm not looking to be the fittest person in the world, but seeing what they do day in and day out and what they do to follow what they're wanting to achieve is very inspiring. And then when it comes to basketball, which I left out, that's my other sport that I really do love and follow. LeBron James is the person at the moment who's arguably the best player in the world, and seeing him play over the last 17 seasons and still be at the top of his game is incredibly inspiring. So they'd probably be my ones there. How about you?
Mine's still Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Finished here. And Conor McGregor. And the reason why I like Kobe so much is because it's similar to LeBron. Like, after 17 years, LeBron's still trying to improve and still trying to get better, and they're both worth hundreds of millions of dollars. LeBron opened a school for underprivileged children, and he still wants to achieve more. And before your head, there is nothing worse than tall poppy. And
explain what tall poppy syndrome is.
Tall poppy syndrome is when a successful person keeps wanting more, and that can be viewed as greedy. It can be viewed as, haven't you got enough? It could be the person in phenomenal shape who's already very lean wants to get a six-pack, and that could be viewed as vain. Once again, that is their standard, and I really, really, really admire people who just keep moving forward. And you realise for them, and for LeBron and Conor and Kobe Bryant, it's not actually about the money. It's about them just trying to be the absolute best version of themselves. And the other one I really look up to is Eminem. And 20 years later, he's still rapping. He's rapped a lot.
Yeah, I think for both of us, we look up to people who have been at the top of, you know, whatever their industry or sport is for a long period of time. You know, we look at what we've been doing in terms of business for 5 years, and it feels like a lifetime. It really does. And to think that people have been, like LeBron James or an Eminem, have been doing it for the better part of 20 years, I find that to be incredible because 20 years ago I was in